You see what low grade you made on your weekly mathematics test. More than half of you failed.
Does math seem dry, abstract, or remote from the world? A hoop to jump through in school? A subject only a mother or a computer could love? It's not. Doing math is like street fighting. Solving problems is a duel with nature. In a street fight, nobody cares whether your form is exact. What matters is that you connect. Because then you really get it. I'm Sanjoy Mahajan. I'm Associate Professor of Applied Science and Engineering at Olin College and Visiting Associate Professor at MIT. I learned proper mathematics at Oxford and improper mathematics at Caltech as a physics PhD student. And now, I promise to share with you the best of both. I'll teach you how to shoot first and ask questions later. This philosophy is a theme of 6.SFMX, Street Fighting Math. In this course, my co-instructor Ike Chuang and I will show you the ways and the courage to guess answers without a proof or an exact calculation. You will learn to make seemingly magical mental calculations, to debunk a common economics misconception, to solve differential equations without using calculus, and to estimate the fuel consumption of airplanes by dropping coffee filters. Together, we'll develop 6 reasoning tools that span mathematics and its application to the world. Whether you're a student, a practicing scientist or engineer, or simply curious, welcome. You'll learn a new way to attack quantitative problems and find that, like a party, math done right is messy, funny, and fun. Take this course and you'll be dangerous.
And notice the motif here for the first part is we've got winter scenes, fall, summer. Okay, that's the theme here. And there is a rationale behind the theme in the shirts. In doing a project, I always seem to hurt myself a little bit because it's hard to fix your parts. You start drilling, it's not where you want, so you kind of crank it around. I'll get some M&Ms for later on when we get into the gear lecture. And as you turn it, it's got all kinds of mechanisms. Gears, it's got a Geneva mechanism, it's got cams, and it processes the M&Ms, which we'll get for the next time. The key is the score. In a design contest, you figure out massaging shapes. Very lightweight, strength by the multi-aspects of curvature. Oh, I want it better! And you apply your passion and your brain, good to go.
Data is transforming business, social interactions, and the future of our society. Analytics is at the heart of the leading companies of our times, like Google, Amazon, and IBM. In this course, you would learn how to use analytics and data to give an edge to your career and your life.
Together, we'll explore a wide variety of inspiring examples, like the meaning of intelligence, what predicts happiness, and how data is changing the future of medicine.
I'm Dimitri Bertsimas, and I've been a professor at MIT since 1988. My career has focused around analytics, and I believe that analytics can positively influence the world.
And I'm Allison O'Hare. I received my PhD from MIT in 2013. Together, in 15071X, the Analytics Edge, we'll dive into some of the most exciting examples and techniques in this field.
In February 2011, the world watched in awe as a computer beat the best human players at Jeopardy, a game that showcases human intelligence. You would learn how this remarkable feat was accomplished and why the same computer is now being used to design cancer treatments.
We'll discuss the story of Moneyball and how the Oakland A's surprised the world by taking a very small budget and creating a championship baseball team.
We will also teach you how the online dating site eHarmony is using data and optimization to predict compatibility and to find, among millions of people, a perfect match. The only prerequisites for this class are basic mathematics and an excitement about learning analytics.
In each lecture and homework assignment, we'll start with a story and a real data set, and then teach you the method that was used in that application. You will learn specific methods, work with data, and see how analytics provided an edge to real people and real companies.
Join our whole team here at MIT to learn the analytics edge that you can give to your career and your life.
So, should I think this last bauble green, hence bleen, or grew, hence blue? All of them have been green up to now. Probably this one's green. That's basic. Obviously, it's going to be grew. They've all been grew in the past. Why not think that the last one's grew? Well, wait a second. We can understand greenness and blueness just in terms of, say, wavelengths. Green things are things that reflect light of around, wavelength around 510 nanometers. Stop! Away they go. What this dialogue illustrates is that there's no internal incoherence in the person who projects on green, nor in the person who projects on grew. Last thing, it's only fair to check. The magic time has passed, it's 4:15, we can look at that last bauble. Who was right, the green projector or the grew projector? The last bauble is, it's grew. Turns out that the grew projector was right this time.
Structures, you're thinking, like bridges and columns and beams and shafts. This stuff goes back to the Middle Ages? This is so old and boring and stuffy and desperately dull, like chartered accountancy. You want something exciting in your life. Maybe you dream of being a lion tamer. But wait, give me a second. This class is not just about buildings and machinery. Say you make guacamole. Should you have triangle strips? Well, triangles, of course. They better support the bending moment distribution. You will learn about it in 201X. Or you may be an inventor like Amos Winter here at MIT. To make a wheelchair with levers, you need 201X. Or you may be walking in the streets in Rome and spot a guy levitating in midair. Look, it's magic, your friend says. Not really, you say. It is just a structure. I can tell you, I learned it in 201X. Or say that you want to measure how stiff cells are. You need an atomic force microscope. Guess what? You need 201X to measure the cells that make up your brain, and in this brain 201X will put all kinds of new concepts, like stress and strain and constitutive laws that connect them. And you will learn about equilibrium and compatibility. 201X gives you the foundation of structural mechanics and gives you the power to design wheelchairs, measure cell stiffness, build bridges, and figure out magic tricks. That's pretty exciting. Come with us on this 201X journey, and we promise that you will see the world with different eyes.
Hello, I'm Alejandro Ranga from MIT. I'm one of the instructors in 16110X. It's 10 inches, 11%, 22%, mounted on this system that has a load cell at the bottom. This is the strut NACA 0010 linked to a manometer board, which is all hooked up and ready to measure all those pressures. The load cell, we're going to be reading on this
its SLN components, as you can see here, are 0, 0, N. Okay, so that's this point right here in this coordinate system. Similarly, our prime, our integration point here, its components are S, L, and 0. So this is S, L,
just to make sure I properly treat the boundary layer. early as possible. The thing we had to do, we measured the forces on the body, we looked at the wake, we have all this data. Now it's time to process and look at what those numbers tell us.
Architecture shapes our culture, our identities, our way of life, and even our understanding of the cosmos. It continues to shape our current reality, just as it shaped our reality for thousands of years. To know who we are today requires that we know who we were. For as William Faulkner once said, the past is never dead, it's not even past. Some buildings are admittedly in ruins or have disappeared altogether, but buildings have amazing longevity. Even buildings that are hundreds and thousands of years old can still serve as living elements in our culture. We no longer build pyramids, of course, but the pyramids are certainly a permanent element in our cultural imagination. In this course, I've picked out some important moments in the history of architecture that, if you begin to add them together, constitute a global perspective. First societies still exist in many parts of the world. We, as modern and agriculturalists, our history is only 5,000 years. The buildings I talk about place architecture in the dynamics of history. Someone had to make the first pyramid, someone had to design the first church or the Buddhist temple, someone had even to design the first teepee. Architectural history is filled with moments of transition and innovation, brought on by changes in power, religion, trade, ecology, and techniques of production. We will start with the architecture of our first society ancestors, some 150,000 years ago, and take the story to about 1400 CE, to the doorstep of our modern age. But in all cases, we're talking about buildings that shaped our modernity in one way or another.
So the caves, these are not cave people. They're not living in the caves. The caves are the sacred places of discourse, if you will, with animals and ancestors.
I will cover some buildings that might be well known, but just as many that might be new to you if you are coming to architectural history for the first time. Having visited many of these places myself over the years, I want to try to bring some of the excitement of these buildings into the classroom as they are part of our global civilizational legacy. In these lectures, I try to give you the context of the buildings. I'll try to give you also the larger geopolitical story and frame architecture within that. I also try to explain how buildings function, which is not just a question of how they're used, but how buildings evoke or even model certain imaginaries, which I think is an important part of how architecture works and why buildings are such exciting things to study.